YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this weather presentation for February 9th, 2020. As always, please don't forget to subscribe, as well as watching the whole video. And today, it's like a dark theme to represent the dark skies that are going to be over the southeast United States for a long period of time. Okay, thankfully I do have a little flashlight, so my face won't be completely dark. So today we're going to be talking about the deluge for the southeastern United States. It'll be lasting over the next few days, and talking about how we could have potentially 5 to 8 inches plus of rain in the next 5 days in parts of the southeast. River flooding, well, I should say major, but the camera's covering it. But major river flooding is possible, and there's your little area right there that could be potentially impacted, leading to scenes like this, and even worse, maybe this. So we're going to talk about all that in today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe and watch the whole video. So, with that said, let's get started. So this is a look at the GFS model, okay, over the Ohio Valley. Let me actually zoom out. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna look basically at the MSLP, the radar, and to kind of see over the next few days how this is all gonna play out. All right, so we have some rain moving through the southeast, and it could be heavy in some spots. Let's move this here. There we go. And we're gonna have potentially some heavy rain over places like Tennessee and Alabama and Mississippi. And keep in mind, this is just a GFS model. Okay. And look how I just kind of that line kind of sags south, stalls, and it'll get some energy from the main low pressure system and help to re-strengthen that rainfall from eastern Louisiana all the way through northwestern, or the mountains of northwestern South Carolina there. And the rainfall just keeps moving through. That starts to die down, right? So that pushes southeast, and then we got another reinforcing shot of moisture coming in from the southwest direction. That's going to enforce even more precipitation and even a little bit of snow on the leading edge. Places like St. Louis and maybe even Cincinnati could even see a little bit of snowfall out ahead of this. That all lifts up from the south, and this will affect more areas to the north, like Tennessee and Kentucky. But nonetheless, there'll be a strong band of rain and some heavy snow. Okay, for places like St. Louis, Indianapolis, Cleveland eventually, but Cincinnati, if not maybe just to the north of you, but you get some really heavy snow there. And this is Wednesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. And snow will lift its way north, maybe some ice as well, and then that eventually moves its way off the coast. So over 5 days, okay, if we look at the rainfall total over the next 5 days, yeah, let's actually move that back one. Alright, so you can see rainfall could be potentially heavy. Have about 4 inches here in south central Tennessee, but 5 to 8 inches from eastern Tennessee and northwestern tip of South Carolina all the way southwestward into eastern Texas. That's really interesting. Okay, and this was 2 o'clock this afternoon. We had a really heavy band of snow and ice going through Chicago earlier, so that produced some heavy snowfall. Okay, that's the European model, by the way, what this is. And again, it's putting an emphasis on where this heavy rainfall is going to be. Okay, they have a little bit farther west right now, but it's eventually going to move its way to the east. Okay, you see European, this is like the high resolution model. Okay, eventually that main low pressure works its way in, and it really makes that yellow and orange colors widespread. And it's going to be some really heavy rainfall. And this, I mean, again, as I'm going to talk about, this isn't just heavy rainfall. This is heavy rainfall on top of highly saturated grounds. Okay, that have been, doused. And I'm going to be honest with you, some parts of the southeast, okay, well, there's one little spot in eastern Texas that had even more than this, but over like widespread in a lot of areas, or some areas in the southeast had, like in the past 365 days, had over 80 inches of rainfall. So basically from February 9th, 2019, until February 9th, 2020, it's been over 80 inches in some spots. I'm not saying from year to date, as in January 1st till now. I'm saying like in the past, like from 365 days ago until now, some areas have had 80 inches of rainfall plus. And one little spot off the coast of North Carolina and even just east of Houston has had over 100 inches of rain this year. Okay, probably due to some hurricanes. So again, there's your reinforcing shot from the southwest, but the ice threat is going to be a little bit more north. The snow and ice threat will be more northward and westward according to the European than the GFS had it. You can see that rain snow line is much farther north, but look at this. Again, there's that really heavy band of rainfall. Okay, and it's going to be moving along with that jet stream and be very heavy, makes its way east. And I'll be off the coast, but not for another few days. And speaking of jet streams, between the US and Europe, the jet stream, the winds were over 200 miles per hour today. So there were commercial airlines going at over 800 miles an hour. Normally it's like 500. So that's a really interesting fun fact there. And like, I don't know what the exact time was from New York to London, but I do know at times were like significantly cut down, which is good. However, if you have tailwind when you're trying to take off and when you're trying to land, it's really like inconvenient. But when you're actually in the air, the tailwind is really nice. Don't get me wrong. For me, the less I'm on a plane, the better. Okay, but I always want to get there in a quicker amount of time. And the European model actually has the rainfall a little bit more to the west and to the north than like the GFS model kind of headed down here. And then the European model has it this way, but it also puts some heavier rainfall totals on the map. So parts of northern Louisiana would be in that like 8 to 12 inch range. Like some areas could see near 9 inches. Okay, but overall, okay, still your gold colors here and your brown colors, that's like your 5 to 8 inches right there. Again, from eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, all the way down into eastern Texas. So overall, the models agree so far, the GFS and the European. Let's go over to the Canadian. Again, there's that snow for Chicago up there. Now, this isn't as, high definition, so you won't see as many yellows, but the dark greens do still mean heavy rain, and the yellows and oranges are very heavy rainfall. Okay, so again, there it is. It's going to be more of kind of like a line fashion, but more of a glob. But once you get this lifting energy from the southwest, and this could pose more of a severe weather threat. Okay, you can kind of see it. This model always has a hard time making a line, but it is right there because you get that main low pressure system energy right there. It's going to help to trigger like a front or like a line of storms that will eventually. And you could tell the dark greens. You can't really tell with the yellows, but the dark greens do make like a line essentially. So there will be some heavy rainfall, and even though you're like, well, I didn't see as many yellows with this model, so the rainfall totals won't be any higher. They might be even lower. Well, that's not true. Okay, actually, if you look at the rainfall for the next 5 days, okay, compared to the other models, it's a little bit less, but it's pretty much the same. Okay, with eastern Tennessee, you might see like over 6 inches of rain still. Okay, and it's kind of broken up, so instead of being like the GFS and the Euro and being like this, okay, the rainfall is kind of like tilted more, so it's kind of central Tennessee down to northern Alabama, northern Mississippi. Then it kind of breaks up. Then it's more like northeastern Texas, like the Arklatex over there. I could see 4 to 6 inches, and then 4 to 8 in here. So overall, all the three of these, and we can't use the NAM quite yet, but maybe like in like a couple of days we can use the NAMs, both the NAM models. But like overall, these models agree. Eastern Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, maybe even northern Georgia. But this model does highly cut back on the totals for northwestern South Carolina. Like the GFS and the European had like 4 or 5 inches, and then the Canadian has about maybe nearly 2. But still, this is going to be a potential deluge, and not only a deluge, but a deluge that is on top of already saturated ground. So it's certainly something that we do not need at all. So here are some maps from the Weather Prediction Center of excessive rainfall days 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we're gonna analyze it day by day and analyze the threat of excessive rainfall. Okay, I could have just showed you guys these maps from the website, but I wanted you guys to see it on a bigger picture, so I decided to put these in PowerPoint. It's like a little slide here. So this is the day 1 excessive rainfall outlook, and this is valid through 16Z, which is noon Sunday, which is today. So noon today until 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So basically this afternoon, evening, and overnight. Tonight, into the morning tomorrow, what is our threat of excessive rainfall? Okay, and it's a marginal threat. Okay, you won't really see anything spike up until later. Okay, basically from western Ohio down through eastern Texas and northern parts of Louisiana and everywhere in between. So some popular places affected, maybe Alexandria, Louisiana, the Arklatex, Houston, Beaumont, Dallas in that threat zone, Little Rock, Arkansas, St. Louis, Memphis, Jackson, Tupelo, Peoria somewhere in there, Indianapolis, definitely in the place. Those are some places that could potentially be impacted by some excessive rainfall that are embedded within that green color. And within 25 miles of a 0.5 to 10% chance, but I mean, in any given spot, it could always be more than that. Okay, so that's for day 1. About day 2. Day 2, things do start to change a little bit. Okay, some of that green does go up into the mid-Atlantic, up in there. Okay, but the slight, and even especially the moderate, where you got up to a 50% chance, okay, so the yellow and red is something you got to really be concerned about. So excessive rainfall, and now this is tomorrow morning through Tuesday morning. It's basically just a whole day Monday. From morning to afternoon to overnight, the whole day Monday. That's where it's valid for. And I guess the places impacted could be, just north of, between Houston and Dallas. Okay, so again, the Arklatex, we got Alexandria again, Jackson, Tupelo especially, Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia, and we got what's it called? Blairsville, Georgia, near the mountain there. We got Asheville, Columbia, maybe even Memphis, Nashville. We got Knoxville in this threat, and many other places in the Mid-Atlantic that I won't bore you guys out with too much. But yes, all those places could see a much greater chance of excessive rainfall on tomorrow, and even a little bit of a threat there towards Phoenix and Tucson. Okay, let's go to day 3. Now, this is the whole day Tuesday. So 8 a.m. Tuesday to 8 a.m. Wednesday. The threat does shift down a little bit. Okay, but this threat will press to the south. It will subside. Now you got another round of rainfall that this doesn't really, it only goes out 3 days. This only goes out 3 days. So all these colors you'll see here will weaken. They will drop south, and then another reinforcing shot from the southwest. And then the weather prediction channel will bring those maps up as we go along in time. But some places potentially impacted by excessive rainfall for Tuesday. Near Wichita Falls, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Alexandria, the Arklatex. So you see they showed up in all 3 of these. Okay, Jackson, Tupelo, Birmingham, Atlanta, Blairsville, Knoxville, Nashville, Memphis, Little Rock. So, and even Columbia, South Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. So, it's the same areas. This is what I'm talking about. This is the same areas getting hit day after day with a potential for excessive rainfall. And how about the chances for a significant river flood outlook? Okay. In any of these areas, like these little patchy areas that say orange and red. Okay, we got here, here, here. That's basically where flooding is about to happen. That's where river flooding is about to happen or is already happening. And this was updated 2330Z, so that is basically 7:30. Wait, yeah, 7:30. And as I'm doing this video, it's 7:28, so basically I just updated this like right now. All right, so this is from the 9th to the 14th. Now, if this orange and red, like if that orange color was shaped in the fashion that the yellow is, like it's all, it's widespread, it's shaded, okay, you would know that the threat is more widespread. Now, the yellow means it's possible, it's not yet happening, but it could happen in the near future. Alright, now for this section of the video, I want to analyze some rivers that are in flood stage, and across the lower 48, we have 5 that are in major, 5 river gauges that are in major flood stage, and I can see 3 just for the southeast. Okay, looks like we have one right here. Yep, and we got one over here in South Carolina. And I saw another one. Maybe it's been downgraded to moderate. But I did see 3 here, 3 river gauges in the southeast that are currently in major flood stage. So that's really scary to discover. Let's actually go to those flood stages, the ones that are in major. So first we got the Congaree River at Carolina, Eastman, South Carolina. So obviously, with so many Carolinas, you know that this is definitely South Carolina. Oh, there's the other one. That's it. The other major flood stage area is it's in North Carolina. We'll get to that one as well. Okay, let's click on that one. Carolina, Eastman, South Carolina. Okay. Now, don't let it freak out. 115, 119 feet. I mean, 100. Anything below 114 is normal. Okay, so it just has to do with, don't necessarily look at the actual numbers like the stage in feet. Just look at how it increases and how it decreases. Because it all has to do with like where it's located above sea level and all that stuff. All right, so the blue is observed, like where like the past up till now, and then the purple is what's forecast to happen. Now the good news is this looks to be the worst that it's going to be at. Now for this particular region, if we were to analyze the models again, okay, like the GFS for where that river is located, that river gauge, so that river gauge is maybe right around here. So for where that river gauge is located, the GFS is forecasting another ½ inch of rain in the next 5 days. The European is forecasting maybe another inch, inch and a half, and the Canadian model is forecasting about a quarter of an inch to ½ inch of rain. So at least this river gauge will not be seeing the 4 to 8 plus inches flooding that the other parts of the Mid-South and the Tennessee Valley will see. Okay? That doesn't mean we're necessarily out of the woods by any means at all. Let's actually zoom in on this. Here we are. Okay, so you can see we are at 126.4, and we have actually dropped a little bit. We barely dropped. The highest we were at looks to be, yes, 126.4 was the highest observation, and now it's at 8 o'clock this morning. Now we are down to 126.1, and that was observed about 25 minutes ago. Okay, if forecasting is correct, we might go up a little bit, but we're going to be dropping. Okay, so by the time we head into Tuesday evening, it's going to be in the lower parts of moderate flood stage. So we are going to see improvements. Okay, but then we could see literally increase again, and then it kind of levitates off. But just to see like how we got here, like this is Wednesday evening right here, right? This is Wednesday evening, and this is 4 days later. So basically, in the span of 3 to 4 days, we went from no flooding whatsoever to major flooding. Okay, and here's why. I'll even walk through the time periods here. I mean, look at this. At 3 o'clock on the 6th, we were at 113.4 feet, right? Okay, 6 hours later, we jumped 4 feet. The river rose 4 feet in 6 hours. Okay, but here's the best part. So that's 912, right? Oops. Sorry about that. So if that was 912, that we were at 117 feet, this is minor flood stage. Okay. So maybe 10, 11, 12, 1, that's maybe 4 hours later. Another few hours later, we jumped another 3.5 feet up to moderate flood stage. Okay. So during this stage, when it was getting up to minor and moderate, that's when it was really rising rapidly. Then the rate in which it was increasing kind of tapered off, but it was still increasing rapidly until it's at major, okay? But let's actually go through, hopefully this will have it, the effects, because we know it's in major flood stage, but what does that all mean? Because it depends if it's in any land, does it affect anybody? So 126, so basically this is where we are right here, 126. This is the spot we should be reading, because that's where we ended up, this is where we ended up topping off at. So extensive farmland and lowland flooding will occur in south of Columbia to Lake Marion. Water will reach the top of some dikes at the Carolina Eastern facility. So as I'm looking at this, potentially the river gauge is right next to a road. Okay, this place doesn't look very populated. I don't think it is. Okay, it looks like, oh, there's an interstate there. Okay, Interstate 26. But okay, you can see there's another main river over here. Okay, so it's a lot of flooding potentially, and could be potentially deadly to some people, unfortunately. Okay, now let's go to that major flood stage river gauge in North Carolina, and then we'll head to the one farther west. Okay, so here's the one for North Carolina. I did click on it, right? This is the Petey River. I remember analyzing this river before. It's the Petey River, but I don't remember this location now. Blewett Falls Lake. Okay, and so far we have been dropping. Okay, actually we're right at the borderline between moderate and major flood stage. Basically we drop any lower than this, and we are in moderate flood stage. That's the good news. Okay, so we did top off 184 feet. We've basically been in, I'll tell you, the river has been in flood stage since for 36 hours. I'm sorry, 72 hours. This river has been in flood stage for 72 hours. Maybe 75. So, I mean, That's a long time. It's been a flood stage. As a matter of fact, it's been in major flood stage for 36, almost between 24 and 36 hours. It has been a major flood stage, and it is dropping. As a matter of fact, part of the blue line is getting into the red now, so we should be in moderate flood stage by the time this update's next, because it's on a decline. But still, I mean, we're gonna see flooding probably, and this has no forecast because some river gauges don't. You can tell by the shape of the gauge, like before you click on it. But we're probably gonna have flooding still all the way through Monday or Tuesday at least. Okay, and so we said, so this was that was at North Carolina there, right? Okay, so the GFS, for where that river gauge is located, the GFS is forecasting another, maybe around an inch, maybe a little bit less than that. The European is forecasting an inch, and the Canadian is forecasting like a few tenths of an inch. So it's the same thing as the other South Carolina river gauge. So they're pretty similar. Oops. Okay, and at 184, this one doesn't have the effects. Okay, never mind. Yeah, some river gauges like have the effects. Like if it's at this gauge, this is what's going to be affected, but this one doesn't seem to have it. That's okay. All right, let's wait for this one to refresh. And we'll get one more river gauge before we kind of take a step forward. So again, I mean, like I said, 5 to 8 inches of rain on top of already saturated ground. And as I'll be telling you on the next slide, okay, we do not need the rainfall whatsoever. Okay, and so there's 3 river gauges that are in major flooding in the southeast. And then there's those 2 that are always seen to be in major flood stage up there in North Dakota, probably due to the excessive snowfall. Let me see if I can find the other one that is in major flood stage and analyze that river gauge. All right, let's see. It's like I find another one river gauge that's in major flood stage and then I lose one again. So I probably lost it. Yes, I did. You guys see it? No, I don't. Unless I'm blind. I only see 2 in the southeast. So who knows? It surely could have been. I'm not gonna waste my time looking for it, but overall, you see a lot of orange and red dots on the map, okay, and even a couple purples, and that is signifying a very big deal. The fact that's alarming. I mean, the fact that we're already in flood stage for so many river gauges, it's gonna be hard for some people. It's gonna be difficult for some people to get I mean, it's the southeast, okay, don't get me wrong, but the southeast has seen better times than this. I think we all know that. Yeah, so I do not see it anymore. I probably updated. I think it was actually one of these, like the Tennessee. I think it was a Tennessee River. Yep, that was probably it. So, like I said, the river gauges are slowly but surely dropping off a little bit, but with the rainfall coming in, they are certainly going to increase. All right, let's go back to normal zoom. All right, now, just to get you guys an idea on how saturated the ground is, let's look in the last 30 days. We have seen in parts of the southeast over 10 inches of rainfall in the past 30 days. Okay, okay, that's saying that, but how much are we supposed to see normally? Well, normally in the southeast, we're really only supposed to see maybe 5 or 6 inches of rain in a 30-day time period, and we see double that in some spots. So the ground has been really saturated. So when you look at the departures for normal, okay, and you can see some areas are like more than 8 inches above average. Parts of South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, even Tennessee out there, but widespread about 4 to 8 inches of rain above average right now for our 30-day rainfall departures. And here is the percent of normal. So basically, wherever you see those dark blues, okay, anywhere you see those dark blues across the southeast, that's where you've been 2 to 3 times your normal rainfall in the past like 30 days. Now, if you see 100%, like that gray means 100% of your rainfall, that's like, whoa, that's a lot of rainfall. But actually, when you think about it in weather terms, 100% of your normal rainfall just means that's your average. Like, for example, if you see 90% of your rainfall in any given time period, 90%, that would be 9/10 of your normal rainfall. So it would actually be less. So basically, 100% is average. Anything above 100% of your rainfall is above average. Anything below it is below average. And there's actually a little spot here across the southeast. Okay, in the northern mountains of like near Greenville, South Carolina, and the mountains there. Some places there, and also some widespread parts of Texas and Oklahoma that have seen even triple to quadruple their normal rainfall in the past 30 days. Okay, and as I told you earlier about the 365-day rainfall, okay, that has been excessive. So like I said, oh, let me go to observed. Sorry about that. Like I said, so here's your lavender colors across Mississippi, Alabama here, and there's just east of Houston. There's that 100 inches above or 100 inches of rainfall in the past 365 days. But widespread areas, 70, 80, 90 inches of rain in the past 365 days. I mean, this is like unheard of. Matter of fact, we have flood watches and flash flood watches from eastern Texas to eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina and northwestern South Carolina, which is that same exact place where all these models have been putting that heavy rainfall. So everything is sadly lining up. It's too bad. It's just all lining up too easily. Let's make sure there's no clocking. All right. So eventually, okay, so this is going to work as our line. So I'll show you the precipitable water to show how much moisture is in the atmosphere. Okay, but here's this deep plunge, and here's your upper level disturbance. Okay, and then you got, because of that jet stream flow, here's another circulating area of motion. As like another, like it's convective. Kind of like when you get tropical storms in the Pacific or the Atlantic. And that is just pushing in some really extreme moisture up. Now, when you push it up against the mountains, okay, in Mexico, because northern Mexico does have some mountains, you can see where it's all kind of building up right here. See how it's just all stalling out and even developing? Well, that's your mountain. That's your mountain precipitation or some cloud cover. But it's coming for the southeast. It's coming. That precipitation is coming. Matter of fact, here's precipitable water, okay, in GFS. All right, so here it is, dark greens coming in by tomorrow morning. Okay, and that's nothing. Watch this. The blues are even worse. Like the blues and the light blues are definitely worse. And they're coming. Watch this. And if this model won't show it, the Canadian model will. But it looks like the Smoky Mountains, like I said, the mountains are going to generate that moisture. So the Smoky Mountains could see some, and the Appalachians could see some really high precipitable water, meaning more rainfall. And then some lower precipitable water starts to press in by Friday. So Thursday night, Friday, conditions will be improving. And again, here's your GEM model. And then that model kind of has some more blues through the southeast. Okay. Actually, put it back right there. Okay, so they have even more blues. Okay, so that's where your potential rainfall, potential water storage is going to be there in the clouds, and it could be like this video was titled an extreme deluge potentially across the southeast. So hope everybody stays safe. Again, get to the highest level of your home is really all we can say, and just to say be careful. We're not telling you what to do, we're recommending you what to do, because this is a very serious threat. Okay, and obviously I was in school when this happened, but where I am not too long ago, maybe was it a couple of days ago, we had a tornado warning out of the blue. No tornado threat whatsoever. Okay, and all of a sudden a line just formed, and like we haven't had a tornado warning like where I am in February since 1994. And we even haven't had a tornado warning at all since like for a few years at least. Maybe the last one we had was in Dover or like in Newcastle. So just goes to show that, you know, any tornado warning could pop up out of anywhere, even when there was no tornado threat whatsoever. It wasn't even hot and humid. So watch out for a little bit of a gusty wind threat. There shouldn't be a tornado threat, but take what I just told you into consideration. Watch out for some heavy rain, gusty winds, and maybe even some tornadoes are possible. But that is certainly a lower threat. But still watch out for it. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time. Thank you for watching.